What's up, everyone? I'm McKenzie Mitchell, and welcome to Threads.
Join me in this special audio experience of Threads, where we go behind the scenes of the fashion and style of the most significant events in sports and entertainment. Today, we're in Orlando, Florida, taking a deep dive into the closet of a wrestling figure aficionado, a podcast host, a deathmatch king, an Indy god, and a broski. He's been a champion all over the world, won multiple awards, and is an ultimate entrepreneur, Matt Cardona. And of course, check us out on YouTube, where you'll find the show in its original intended format. I'm McKenzie Mitchell, and welcome to Threads.
I feel like we've been talking about doing this forever, and so
It's
I'm
been a
really
while, yeah.
excited to have you as my first guest.
I'm excited to be here.
So you've wanted to be a professional wrestler since you were just a little boy, right?
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, that's the only thing I wanted to do. Obviously, you can see I have a lot of toys, a lot of action figures. I just never grew out of it. Even in high school, I was still playing with the figures. I'm not telling anybody. Literally, you'd open my closet door, all my figures would be on display. Like, my girlfriend didn't know about it, my friends didn't know about it. But yeah, I knew I always wanted to be a pro wrestler.
So you were wrestling in the backyard at the age of what?
I was in high school, don't try this at home. But yeah, of course, I was always wrestling with my brothers, like in the basement, like on mattresses. And then we got a little more professional, the trampoline. Then we bought our own ring. It was on public access television. It was pretty ridiculous.
So from day one to where you are now, how have you evolved throughout the years when you look at your look?
Oh, my look has drastically changed. I mean, when I started in WWE, I have long blonde hair. Then I had like spiky hair, and now I have the beard. I'm all jacked up now. You gotta change, you have to evolve, not just with your gear, but with your look, you know? And also, the more times you change your look, the more action figures you get.
That's very true. Well, when you look at your day one gear,
Yes.
is there anything that stayed the same?
The color purple, maybe? I was always...
Okay. That was a question I had for you,
always
actually.
into purple. There's always some purple somewhere. That's kind of my favorite color. But yeah, other than that, I'm always changing it up, whether it be the long tights or the trunks or the one-legged tights. There's always something different. I use the term toyetic, right? It's like when you walk down that toy aisle, you want to pop off those shelves. You want the kids to be like, who's this guy?
Okay, so we talked about the color purple. You said
Yeah.
it was it's your favorite color.
It is my favorite color, yeah.
But is there any other symbolism in it to you? Is there any other reason for the color purple?
So my first gimmick in pro wrestling was this group called the Rat Pack. Okay, myself, Brian Myers, a couple of guys, and we were just like picture guys who were going to the club, right? And they were just dressed in those clothes, and we wrestled. It was stupid, right? But we all wanted like different color shirts to stand out, and we all wanted so I'm like, all right, I'll be the purple shirt. And then, and then just kind of stuck with me from there. So it's all from the Rat Pack days.
You and Kurt Hawkins
Yes.
were WWE Tag Team Champions as well.
Twice.
So twice, exactly. But I think it's interesting because today, it seems like every tag team matches.
Yes.
You guys, when you look
Oh.
at photos and you look at your moments,
The puke, I hate it.
why though?
Because I didn't want to be a tag team wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be like Edge and Christian. Edge and Christian never matched. And they end up being their own guys. And yes, tag teams have broken up before, and sometimes they both have success, but typically not. Typically someone's like the Marty Jannetty of the team. No offense, Marty. But I just knew, like, we needed to be different. Especially, like, we were the Edge heads, and we were wearing, like, the Edge gear for so long. When we were able to not wear that gear, it's like, we can't wear matching gear that's not Edge gear. So he wore, like, trunks, and I wore long tights. And even when we got back together years later, listen, you might be able to find a photo on Google where we're matching, but the majority of the time, we do not match.
Do you think that was almost a mentality from years past of like, we don't really want to match as a tag team? Because now you fast forward to 2024 where we are,
Yeah.
I don't think you can find a tag team that doesn't match.
And I get it, but like that's why we didn't want to match, because everyone matches. So I was always trying to stand out.
Okay, so to go back to where we were, we were
Yes.
talking about the United States Championship.
Yeah.
Title win. You've got Broski across the front.
Yeah, so this is 2011. I start the year as an absolute nobody. Can't even get on TV. I start this YouTube show, Z True Long Island Story. Long story short, I end the year wrestling Dolph Ziggler at TLC for the United States title. And honestly, if I can go back in time, I'd redo this gear. I don't think this gear is toyetic enough. I should have done like some USA style gear, which I've done in later on. I did. It's kind of boring. If I could do it again, I would. But listen, this is a one-time wear. Never was again. You know, so like this, when I'm going through my gear, I'm like, oh, won the U.S. title on this. You know what I'm saying? So at least in that sense, it's special, but it has like the Broski logo on the back, the Broski on the front. Like here's those ZRs, you know, and then the Broski headband. Funny story about this. So by this time, I'm so over that they're making my headband on WWE Shop, right? For a year or two prior, I had to make my own headbands. This one I made myself because I didn't want to just wear the one they sell because it didn't match the gear. So I wore this one. So usually when you're wearing sunglasses or gear, entrance gear, you kind of just throw it down and somebody brings it to the back. So I win the U.S. title. My dad's there, I hug my dad. I'm so happy. And I'm like, well, where's my headband? Someone like thought it was a merch headband and threw it into the crowd. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because like this is important gear, U.S. title gear. So that's like December, whatever it is. Couple weeks later, we're in Madison Square Garden for a house show. I'm doing my entrance. I'm the U.S. champion. I see someone in the front row. Where my headband? I said, that's my headband. You stole my headband. He's like, no, they gave it to me. I'm like, and then I had my headband on, like the merch one. Let's trade. So I gave him the merch headband. He gave me this one. So I got it back.
Wow.
That's headband fate right there.
Wow, that's almost sad that you wouldn't have had your original OG gear, but people just
they don't know. They're not. This isn't Zack Ryder's www.shop.com headband. This, you know, they don't know, so they're just here, take it. You know.
Wow.
But I got it back. It's mine. It's all mine.
Let's dive into arguably maybe one of your biggest moments in your career. That was with the WWE.
Getting pushed off the stage in a wheelchair?
Maybe not that one, but I'm talking winning the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
Let's talk about that night.
WrestleMania 32, Dallas, Texas. I was not supposed to be in that match. I got added last minute, and luckily my gear guy, Rick Michael, shout out to Rick, he made that gear fast.
You didn't have this time to process and create your perfect, idealistic gear. It was an overnight situation for you.
Right. So I was probably going to be in that Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So I had gear made, but when I found out I was going to be in a ladder match for the Intercontinental, I said, whoa. We need like some IC title Mania ladder match gear. Sometimes I like to draw like inspiration from other people. And one of my favorite wrestlers is Macho Man Randy Savage. And at WrestleMania 7, he wore this iconic like white and purple gear, and I didn't want to copy the gear exactly, but I wanted those colors. This is gonna sound really nerdy, that like eventually I was hoping they'd make a Zack Ryder figure like that. I could put it next to that Macho Man and they'd match.
Okay, I didn't even know that this part existed. I thought it was just the trunks, the sunglasses, and everything involved. So take me through all of this.
Yeah, so this is like the entrance gear that I had. I'll admit it, I ripped it off kind of from Tanahashi, because he has like the logo and it comes off. I'm like, that's really, really cool. Back then, I don't think it was so well known that it's Tanahashi gear, but like now, like everyone knows, but I don't care, I stole it. And then the back has like my ZR logo with mesh, which doesn't really come through like when I'm wearing it, but like
it's very intricate. That's the thing is, was it more expensive because you knew it was going to be an expensive moment?
Absolutely.
If you will?
But I didn't know when I designed this I was going to win the match. You know, so I got this because just walking down that aisle was the win for me, you know what I'm saying? We talked about earlier how I was like in a backyard wrestling thing, I called it WTW, and then inside this, I put the WTW logo. Nobody like on TV saw it, but it was like for me, you know, like I fucking made it, you know what I'm saying? It's very special for me, you know, because I literally would on that trampoline every day, practicing stuff, doing moves, wrestling my brothers, wrestling my friends, and then like I actually did something with that, you know?
Well, there was a point in your career when you were also the Deathmatch King.
Yes.
So you probably don't have that gear here today. That would kind of be like, I don't know, like a health hazard almost.
Okay, yeah. So,
but explain the Deathmatch King from start to finish, where it kind of came from, and then where it went.
So when I got released from WWE, I knew that I needed a change. I just didn't know what that change was. And I was approached by GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, to wrestle in a death match against Nick Gage. Look him up. Google him. He's a criminal. He's a drug addict. He was on Dark Side of the Ring. He cars people up with pizza cutters. I was like, there's no way I'm wrestling this guy. And then I took a step back and said, you know what? People are going to talk if I wrestle this guy. I wore all white, like white jeans, a white t-shirt. And I said, like, there's probably a good chance I'm going to get like a couple of trickles of blood on me. My shirt was maroon. It was maroon. I was covered in blood. I got scarred, but it changed my whole career. It changed my life. I'm so glad that I did it. Like, we wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for that match. I wouldn't be the Indy god if it wasn't for that match. But about that gear, I was like, well, what am I going to do with all this gear? I can't keep it. It's covered in blood. I got to sell it. So I sold the boots. I sold the pants. I sold the gloves, I sold the elbow pads, and then I had this shirt, this maroon shirt. I said, what can I do with this? And luckily, I'm a diehard collector, diehard wrestling fan. At Wrestlemania, you know, and I have some on the wall, like they cut up like the canvas, and they make this nice Wrestlemania plaque. What if I find that company, cut up the shirt, and make a Wrestlemania plaque and sell it? And it's right up there, and I made over $20,000 on a t-shirt.
Wow. And it's discolored a little now.
But, yeah. So I let them know, the company, hey, this is blood. Please wear gloves when you're cutting these up.
Wow.
I don't want to use the word iconic, but it's iconic to me.
So you chose white for obvious reasons,
Yeah,
right?
I knew I'd get a couple trickles of blood, but literally, if you watch the footage, my white shirt is maroon, and my mom was not happy about it.
Well, I mean, I kept texting you saying, hey, please change your profile picture. When we're scrolling through and seeing the Deathmatch King, it's pretty violent. It looks a little extreme.
Yeah,
so
but it's fun because, you know, it was one match, but I have so many action figures of that match. Like right there's a Nick Gage carving me up with a pizza cutter.
Let's bring it in.
Let's bring him in. And there's actually a version where I'm clean and then it turns bloody.
Wow.
So you got to be toyetic. Like Rey Mysterio is the perfect example of toyetic. Whether you're a wrestling fan or not, you walk down that aisle and you're like, who's that guy? You know, so that's what I always try to do with my gear, especially if it's like a bigger event. Listen, you can't be spending more money than you're making every single show. It's a business, right? But for certain events, it will pay off in the long run. Absolutely.
Of course. Okay, you've not only just been wrestling around the world, but you've been winning championships around the world.
Yes, I have.
So let's talk about the NWA World Championship.
Yeah.
You were wearing this elaborate robe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this robe. Let's pull it out so everyone can see.
Well, first, let me just show this. I said earlier that I didn't save bloody gear, but
Oh, you did? Why did you lie?
this is when I actually won the NWA World title. Like, that's a big deal, 10 pounds of gold. How do you not save that gear? So I have it. It's covered in blood, Trevor Murdoch's blood.
I didn't know when I picked this up. I thought this was like tie-dye.
No.
I genuinely thought this was tie-dye. I'm just like picking up these Ziploc bags, helping out.
I don't think we're actually going to take them out of these bags, you know what I'm saying?
You need to preserve that
Yes,
some
it's preserved in these Ziplocs I got at Walmart. I win the NWA title. I'm like, wow, this is great, the 10 pounds of gold. So my big next NWA show, I'm like, well, I'm the NWA champion now. I got to come out in style. Like, it's maybe the most expensive piece I've ever bought.
Can I hold
Yeah,
this?
you can, yeah.
And it's pretty light. I actually thought it would be pretty heavy. I've held Cody's gear before, like his robes, and they're very, very heavy, but it's leathers.
Right. You need to be able to travel with this. You know what I'm saying? So luckily this can fold down. You need to be able to fold up your gear because we're traveling so often, you know, like you need to fit in your bag. Mm-hmm. It's got that NWA legacy look, but also with my style, with the MCs, with my skull logo and the rhinestones, the purple, of course, the purple lining on the inside. Walking out with this, I was like, all right, now I feel like the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And it's definitely like one of my favorite pieces, but we talk about gear that, you know, is like a one-time wear. There's no way this could be a one-time wear because it was so damn expensive. So I've worn this a bunch of times, and I will continue to wear this. I don't know if I'm ever going to get another robe. That's how expensive this was.
Do you think you'd ever remake it if you ever came back to WWE? What would your look like?
If it was up to me and I could keep the Matt Cardona name, obviously I could never wear the same. Like if I went to WWE and like we went to the robe, I'd get a new one, right? But I'd have to, like you can't wear the NWA robe there. But yeah, I mean, this is like my new look now. But if I had to go back and switch everything to like the ZRs again, I would. But this robe just means a lot to me because I was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I took pride being the champion. I defended that title all over the world, brought it everywhere. I brought it to my honeymoon, which was like ridiculous. Like that's how proud I was to be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and it was worth the price.
Did you say, I want the sequins, I want the rhinestones, I want the logo, I want the lace, I want all of the elaborate pieces? Or is that something, the crushed velvet? Or did you say, you know what, just kind of, this is my idea, take it and do what you want?
Yeah, so usually I think of most of the stuff, but this, my gear maker, Rick Michaels, he makes Ric Flair's robes. So I said, Rick, you do you. You know, I want it to look like me. I want my logos on it, but you do you. I want to be hands off on this, and he did a hell of a job.
This robe that you wore to NWA, do you feel like that was kind of your moment to go, I was Zack Ryder for so long, and I did these awesome things in my career, but now as Matt Cardona, I'm the NWA World's Champion. Like, this is my ultimate moment to shine in the ring and to go all out and be elaborate and take center stage of what you deserve to own.
100%. And you know, at this time, it was just the best time of my career. Like I said, since WWE was great. It was awesome. I was there for over a decade. I am so fortunate for my time there. I wouldn't be the indie god without my time in WWE. I'm not saying that one bit. I loved it. It was great. But it's over. So now it's instead of like being nostalgic about the past, I'm looking to the future. And, I'm only 38. I don't even think I've hit the prime of my career yet. So now, like, I get to, hey, if I want to wear a robe, I can wear a robe. If I want to wear an indie god hat or a crown, and that's what I think the best part about me is that you never know who you're going to see when you buy a ticket to see Matt Cardona. Am I going to come out in the classic robe? Am I going to be the deathmatch king? Am I going to be in just the cool denim vest? You never know. And I want to keep people on their toes because, I don't want them to say, I've seen that already.
Well, that's really special, and thank you so much for joining me. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh my God, just follow me on social media at the Matt Cardona. I have the Major Wrestling for Your podcast, my own toy line, Big Rubber Guys, Major Bendies. Listen, we can spend another half hour just plugging my own stuff. So.
Well, thank you again. And guys, thanks for watching Threads. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and we will see you next time.